So I'm looking after Otis today and he's being a bit weird. Anyway, I'm just going to leave him to do what he wants to do. But I thought it'd be nice to do a little kind of catch up and also talk about some environments that I've been doing for Unmasked and kind of my process behind that, seeing as I'm pretty terrible at environments. Towards the end of last year, I just got quite busy. I had to focus on that a lot, and then I also had an interview for something at the start of January, which was really important. I'm not going to talk about it just yet. I will be able to talk about it soon. So yeah, it was a lot of preparing for that as well. I also released some stickers, which I haven't really spoke about on here. Quite a few people have ordered them off the store. This is like the triple pack of them all. 2 are my Inktober stickers and 1 is just like a set of zombie illustrations that I've done. But some of them turned out like really nice. I think my favourite's probably this one and also this one. I also got some little business cards made, so when I send my orders out I can just write on those. So if you do want to order one of those, they are on my website now. So yeah, in terms of this vlog, I'm just going to kind of focus on one thing, the environment art for Unmasked. But yeah, I thought it'd be helpful for me to record the process and talk about it, not just for myself, but also other people who might be struggling with it starting out. So hopefully it's at least a little bit helpful and gives you kind of insight into why I've thought about things the way that I have and why I've made the decisions that I have as well. So this is kind of my start for the environments. Obviously I wasn't really sure where to go with it, but I knew it was going to be in sort of rainforest kind of setting. So I found a bit of concept art that I liked and sort of drew up ideas from that initially. So none of these I'll actually be using. It was just to kind of get an idea of potential like structures and the way things might look. And then I started to draw up my own ideas, but I wasn't really sure where I was going with them. I kind of like this one and I kind of like this one too. One thing I didn't mention is that I decided early on that Lana's home village, because it was in a rainforest, it could potentially be set above water and be kind of like an abandoned fishing village. When I did this piece, I didn't really feel like the houses were kind of tied together, like to each other. They didn't look like they necessarily belonged in the same place. So something that I wanted to do was have something that connected them all, which is why I decided to go with a boat theme. So it's not that the houses will be made up from boats necessarily, they'll all just have kind of like the shape of a boat if you sort of silhouetted them out, I guess. So because I got so stuck on these and kind of not knowing where to go next, I drew out some shapes in just markers and then drew over the top in pencil. So you can see a lot more of these. I've started to kind of do these with like angular shapes, sort of like sails. I think these look kind of cool, but they're a bit all over the place and I don't really think that they work. And they're also a lot of them are quite pointed. Which obviously doesn't really give off a friendly vibe. So what I did after that, and what I think is quite useful for anyone to do, no matter what you're doing, this is how I kind of do studies even when it comes to characters, but I just did real life studies of things that I thought I could use as reference or as part of the houses. So these are all studies either from fishing villages, of boats, like washing on lines, little lanterns, like someone I saw had fairy lights in their fishing village as well, which I thought would be cool. So I just drew all these elements up on their own, and I did a few pages of those. So these are all just like wrecked boats, and then like rotting wood with rope around it as well. And then from that, you can kind of just use all these to sort of build up an original idea. So you could use like this as the main part, and then use this as a little side piece, and then use this on top of it. And obviously you can just use one piece and kind of build from that as well. Come up with these few ideas to start with. So you can see this is the top of a fishing boat, which I've put on there, and I also used some of these kind of wood pieces just at the side here to use as like where the lanterns could sort of be hanging from, and then you can see I've used this boat there. I didn't think that idea worked out very well. I also used like this kind of idea here and there. I thought that looked really nice because it kind of looks like a fin. From these two I chose to develop these two ideas. I also found this piece as well, which I started off. I think this one could work quite well, but obviously I'll continue to develop these further as well. I just wanted to kind of create some concept art from these two, just to see if I was heading in the right direction. So this is where I started to sort of refine my ideas digitally. So I scanned in sort of 2 pages of the houses that I sketched out, that I thought could potentially be developed into something else. I did a couple of other sketches like this one and this one in a different sketchbook as well, which I've not shown you, but I thought this one especially looked quite cool. I thought this one here could maybe be developed into something, but as it is, it just looks a little bit boring and weird. But yeah, I scanned these in and started to colour them in. I was trying out different techniques like using a pencil to do my lines, but it just doesn't really look different to my usual stuff, and although I love my own style and stuff, I kind of wanted to try and explore a bit more for this project. So yeah, this is where I really started to see that these kind of houses didn't fit together as a whole. And I also did a sort of mapped out level, so it'll have kind of like a foreground and then background houses as well. And I could see from this as well, they just look like random houses dotted about. And also with this, it's probably going to be on different levels as well. I was trying to do it on one level because I thought it would be easier to program, but we're going to try doing it on different levels, sort of like going up the trees and stuff and like little ladders and steps. This is where I kind of started to think about how to make them look more as a whole. Something I've tried to do before is a more painterly style concept art, but it's never like kind of worked out. It's just never looked the way I wanted it to. I could just never grasp it because I've always been used to doing a sketch and then doing lines and then colouring it in with flat colours and shading and lighting rather than just sort of painting it in. Obviously, you still have to think about values in a similar kind of way, but it's just a very different process. So I thought I'd try it again. I thought I'd try it for the houses. So this is what I ended up doing. I just took the sketches from what I'd already done, from the ones that I liked and thought worked a little bit better, and basically painted on top of those. So yeah, I kind of wanted to do like a full rendered version of it and then do a sort of alternate version of it, and also take some of the elements of it and sort of explain why they're there as well. So I did the original dome house that I kind of came up with, sketched all that out, painted it all out, and then I also added a gradient map at the end and just used a couple of other techniques to sort of paint some colours in over the top. I think the alternate version actually works really well, although maybe the bones coming out the top left could maybe be a little bit different and a little bit more friendly, a little bit sharp, but yeah, I think they both look pretty nice. So I'm really happy with this. One thing I struggled with was trying to add things in to make it look like it's lived in. So with this I tried to think about that a little bit more. So things like adding the little lantern in here, adding a number on there, kind of like it could have been on the boat, or maybe it's something that's been painted on after to symbolise sort of which house it is. And then I added a little painted fish on the side here. Something that I really wanted to do was have hand painted elements all the way through, so whether it's on the house, whether it's on the mast, or whether it's just on the trees in the forest as well. I thought it'd be a really cool idea, so I've done the same on this one as well and just painted a little sun on there. It'd be kind of nice to have different paintings and paintings that maybe represent what each person does in each house as well. That's something I might think about. So I was really happy with this. I feel like I'm kind of developing my own style and my ideas a little bit more. So I'm going to continue this on, which is why I started to work on a new one, which is also one of the sketches that I did. I've started an alternate version as well, but I don't think the first version is quite done yet. I think it needs some better shading. It's just really light at the minute, so I'm probably going to go over that at some point as well. I've been really enjoying doing them and trying something different and pushing myself a little bit more as well. So it's something I'm going to keep doing. Hopefully I'll have more to show you in the next vlog, but I'm also working on some mask designs as well now. So because this is the first game I've ever worked on in terms of being not only just the only 2D artist, but having sort of more of a control of what goes on in the game. And I don't mean I've got full control, not at all. It's just that I'm working with less people, so I've not necessarily got a lot of people needing different things from me and telling me what to do. I can kind of just make my own stuff, and we all just sort of work together to come up with ideas. But although that's good, it's kind of leaving me like, well, what do I do next, sort of thing. I don't know what to move on to. Like, do I keep doing environments? Do I do characters? Do I do like prop design? Do I do menu design? But I think I'm going to focus on environments for now, and also a couple of masks, just because masks are obviously a really important element of the game, and they could possibly influence different parts of the game as well. So I want to get some of them nailed down. But yeah, I should have a lot more to kind of show for the next vlog as well.